Kinsey was a social reformer. He wanted to rid society of Judeo-Christian values when it came to sexuality. And he worked very hard to do that, and I would say he succeeded.
Kinsey would be very happy with our culture today. His idea was that children are sexual from birth, that we're all inherently sexual creatures from cradle to grave. He believed that true happiness is found in a life of perverse sexual experimentation, no matter the age.
What came out is that his research was fraudulent.
Kinsey based his fraudulent conclusions on data he collected from convicted sex offenders and child molesters. His research was conducted in prisons, not everyday America. He also performed horrific sexual experiments on children, some under the age of 1.
You heard what he just said?
I don't even.
You heard what he just said?
Performed horrific sexual experiments on children, some under the age of 1. His most influential book, Sexual Behavior in the Human Male, contains an infamous chart called Table 34, which documents the orgasms of very young kids. Infamous chart called Table 34.
Are you kidding me?
5-month-old, 3. How the fuck can a 5? I don't even know why I took it there.
Time involved. So it's 2 columns. Okay.
11-month-old, 10 orgasms. How the fuck?
This is
cap. It's cap because 11-month-old doesn't have the stimuli down there to fucking get orgasm. What the fuck are you talking about? But I'm surprised I jumped there that quick. I should be more focused on the fact that he did this shit to people that goddamn young.
This is crazy.
10 years old, 14. 4 years old, 17. Time involved, 10 hours, 24 hours. What? $13-year-old, 70. And how the fuck you know? Is it boys? How the fuck you know a 5-month-old girl is having an orgasm?
You literally can't know.
That's rough. That's dark right there. I wasn't expecting no shit like that. That make my damn stomach hurt.
Before, which documents the orgasms of very young kids, including babies as young as 5 months old. But instead of suffering the consequences for his actions, he was and still is celebrated by academia and Hollywood. His ideas form the foundation for sexual education in public schools today.
He need to get stoned.
What do we get from this to... You can choose your own.
That's why I said stoned, because he was back then. That's what they did to motherfuckers back then when it was old. They fucking shot to death on him.
Okay, well now we have another
very important character. That ain't painful.
His name was John Money.
John Money was a psychologist and professor at Johns Hopkins University. Gender ideology was his brainchild. In fact, he coined the terms gender identity and gender roles. And according to Money,
that's probably why.
Babies are gender neutral at birth. And ultimately, environment determines whether a person is a man or a woman.
Money was telling the world about his theory that a boy could be raised as a girl.
So what's up with the Neanderthals? Before we had education, before shit got goddamn soft. Back in the day when dinosaurs was around, you know what the fucking man and a woman was. We wasn't having this conversation. Fuck you mean?
The world about his theory that a boy could be raised as a girl and do just fine, and vice versa.
And so Money tried out his theory on 2 young twin boys, the Reimer twins.
He fucked them up.
When the twins were 8 months old, and they went to be circumcised, the first twin, whose name was Bruce, something went wrong with the machinery, and his penis was burnt off. They stopped and didn't do a second circumcision on the other twin, as you might imagine. And the parents, of course, didn't know what to do. How are they going to raise this child?
John Money convinced Bruce's parents to transition him into a girl. Money also conducted sex...
And the parents, of course, didn't know what to do. How are they going to raise this child?
John Money convinced Bruce's parents to transition him into a girl. Money also conducted sexually abusive experiments on the twins throughout their childhood, including forcing them to simulate sex acts on each other.
He reported up to the age of 10 that this was a complete success. Well, wasn't true.
The results were a disaster. Bruce could never fully accept his female identity. Eventually, his parents told him the truth, and he chose to transition back to a boy, taking the name David.
He killed himself.
As an adult, David spoke out about the abuse and the damage done to him by John Money.
This is
the girls
sick.
Would do their things with their Barbies and things like that, and that wouldn't interest me. And,
that's the one that got his dick burnt off.
Things such as trucks and building forts and getting to the odd fist fight and climbing trees. That's the kind of stuff that I like, but it was unacceptable. So I'd never.
As a girl.
As a girl, I had no place to fit in.
The trauma that he...
How can you... Oh, that's all you need.
This shit's giving me chills.
That's all you need. Motherfuckers...
No, people won't listen to this.
They cut my dick off and tried to make me be a girl, but that shit didn't matter. I still wanted to do boy shit because I was born a fucking boy.
It's upsetting.
He and his brother and his entire family went through, left deep scars. His brother died of an overdose when he was 38, and then David committed suicide.
You knew that was coming.
There was never a retraction or an apology from John Money.
Apology?
Instead, his ideas were
Fucking
adopted
devil.
by mainstream psychology, and they form the basis of gender ideology today. Why don't more people know about John Money and
You already know that shit
Kinsey?
They not gonna hear
Evidently,
that.
there are forces.
Matt Walsh is doing the work of the people.
Yes.
He is.
And he got demonized so much on
It's
social media for this,
crazy.
doing God's work. If you want to call some shit God's work, this is fucking God's
This
work
is
for the
it.
people. And he getting demonized.
Y'all sick. Wake the
That
fuck
don't want
up.
this information out.
I never fit. I was an alpha female, a sales executive that kind of just didn't fit in any box.
All I heard was alpha female.
When psychologists or somebody that I was in love with or whatever said that I was in the wrong body, I started to think, well, maybe I am. I'm a biological woman that medically transitioned to appear like a male through synthetic hormones and surgery. I will never be a man.
I'll be a man.
Is it transphobic for me to tell the truth? Why is it that a couple hundred years from now, if you dug up my body, they're gonna go, yeah, that was a woman, had babies.
Can you tell me about the procedures that you had?
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with a pulmonary embolism. I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I had 6 inches of hair on the inside of my urethra for 17 months. Nobody would help me, including the doctor that did this to me because I lost my insurance. I get infections every 3 to 4 months. I'm probably not gonna live very long.
Was there any real discussion of the risks and the side effects? And
No. No, there's not. And I know that people want to think that there is, but there's not. The truth is that medical transition is experimental. We have studies that said that medical transition helps mental health with kids. They've all been retracted, modified, changed. But the only long-term study tells us 7 to 10 years is when transgender people are the most suicidal.
after?
After surgery. But that's transphobic to say. For the first time in history,
money.
a marginalized group
That money.
has a huge...
How can
That
How
money.
can you refute that? How can you say anything? Y'all are forcing people to their own death.
Yep.
But everyone's just, this was
And
fair.
they're so passionate about it. Like,
Y'all are making people die.
huge dollar sign on the top of their head. We have has a huge dollar sign on the top of their head. We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States promoting that.
What?
And what?
That's a phalloplasty. That's a bottom surgery. We have 5
took his skin
children's
from there.
hospitals.
Took his skin from there to do whatever the fuck they did to make him a man.
To make
Surgically,
him a dick?
yeah.
That's a phalloplasty. That's a bottom surgery. We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States telling girls that they can be boys at $70,000 a pop in a surgery that has a 67% complication rate. That will kill me from infection that I can't sue on. We're butchering a generation of children because nobody's willing to talk about anything. I have 3 kids. At the age that they're doing this to kids. I'm not transphobic. I love my kids, and I love other people's kids, and you should too. This is wrong on so many levels.
Bro, why the fuck isn't this shit on every goddamn platform out here?
This
Fucking
needs to be-
ABC, CNN, NBC, Fox, all this shit, man.
It needs to be.
You put this on YouTube, they censor you, limit you.
This is wrong on so many levels.
Can kids consent? Do you think kids are
No.
Absolutely not.
consenting to this?
No, they're not. Being a parent is loving the hell out of your kids and helping them see around corners.
What's the youngest patient that you've operated on?
The youngest patient I've done vaginoplasty on is age 16.
Do you worry that minors just don't understand enough about themselves? They're not neurologically developed enough yet to make permanent life-altering decisions?
Absolutely not.
A young person's self-perception, one day they may be clear, the next day they may be
Can you
totally...
imagine going through that shit when you were 16? Thinking you know something about yourself when you were 16?
God.
And then knowing how
I
it is.
can't imagine, like, getting a tattoo you regret when you're 16. Like, this.
Absolutely not. These motherfuckers are the devil. These motherfuckers are the devil.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, we're not the most religious motherfuckers, but like, goddamn, if there was
there's
any
a devil.
embodiment of fucking some satanistic devil shit type shit that going on, this is it. Cause how else can you fucking explain someone having that stance on something that clearly is fucking wrong and that has the impact that it's having? You're attacking kids. Kids is going to eventually 67% failure rate that will lead them to fucking be complication rate that will lead them to be, and then motherfuckers that had this shit are suicidal. But what 7 to 10 years after? Is there anything in the world that has this type of effect on somebody? Like, you know, if you do this shit, this is the chances. Motherfucker, go to the damn doctor to contemplate having this procedure.
I bet you they don't tell you that, though.
They need exactly. I know they don't, because if somebody told somebody some shit like that, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. I remember when I was about to fucking jump out the goddamn plane, skydiving and shit. I was contemplating doing that shit on my own, and they fucking said, "Do the shit on your own. You got to worry about this, and this." It was like 50 things that would lead to my motherfucking untimely demise if I signed it. I said, "No, motherfucker, put somebody on my goddamn back." That was just skydiving, and I was grown. I was like 26. Bro, I'm fucking 15, 16, 17. You give me this shit, say, hey, 7% failure rate, and then 7 to 10 years from there, you may become suicidal. Chances are you can be suicidal.
But I bet you don't have to sign anything. All you sign is probably something saying that you could never sue.
But what's wrong with the fucking parents? I don't give a goddamn what the fuck. I don't give about no cancel culture. I don't give a fuck about no woke mob. I don't give a fuck about no conservative, liberal, none of that shit, man. It's my motherfucking
Those parents
child.
need to go to fucking jail.
All of them need to go to goddamn prison. Fuck out of here. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
What's the NBA players?
Fuck is wrong with y'all? D Wade, goddamn.
Yeah, they need to go to prison.
All of them need to go to goddamn prison, because you don't fucking know. Why you're not doing anything to help your fucking child? By
You're supposed to
your motherfucker won't be a
protect your
Superman.
child.
You gonna let him jump off a motherfucking roof to fly? Nah, I won't. Mama, I'm a mother. I'm a woman. I'm a girl, but I'm a man. All right, we're gonna just fucking give you a dick, cut your skin off your goddamn wrist, and put what? What?
No.
Self-perception. One day they may be clear, the next day they may be totally confused and not sure. And you're affirming it with hormones that have never been used in this way in the field of medicine.
You're talking about puberty blockers?
Blockers and then opposite sex hormones.
And at what age does the medical transition begin with medication?
So medical affirmation begins when the patient says they're ready for it. So that could be a kiddo who is just starting puberty and panicking because they're getting breast buds or their penis is getting bigger and busier and they're worried about all kinds of masculine changes. And that way, puberty blockers, which are completely reversible and don't have permanent effects, are wonderful because we can put that pause on puberty. Just like if you were listening to music, you put the pause on and we stop the blockers and puberty would go right back to where it was.
But they don't know that though. They don't know that.
Just delayed that period of time.
You can just pause puberty.
No, you can't.
And then pick it up.
No, you can't.
For the future.
No, you can't. How
can't
many
stop the
studies
fucking
do they
body
have,
to do
long-term
what's
studies on hormone blockers with children? None.
I just spoke a month or two ago.
Hormone blockers with children. Can't. How many studies do they have, long-term studies on hormone blockers with children? None.
I just spoke a month or two ago with a mother whose 14-year-old daughter was put on blockers. They discovered after 2 years, this 14-year-old girl has osteoporosis. That's something that like old women get.
How can doctors assure parents that a certain medicine is totally safe if, based on what you're saying, they can't possibly know that?
How can they be removing the healthy breasts of 15-year-old girls? How can they be sterilizing kids? How can this whole thing be happening, Matt?
Every child that they convince is transgender and in need of medical transition, it generates $1.3 million to Pharma. And we're believing a pharmaceutical company, Lupron, hormone blockers, reversible, so they say. Well, the truth is that in 2003, Lupron was sued and deemed a criminal enterprise by the US government. They paid the most fine of any pharmaceutical company at that time, $874 million, wrote a check.
Is Lupron chemical castration?
Yes. We're giving
874 million, wrote it like it was nothing. Like
chemical castration.
Chemical castration.
This took a dark turn, man. Oh, it was funny and light, and I'm shaking.
Yes. We're giving it to pedophiles, aren't we? We're giving it to people that are dying, and we're giving it to kids, telling them that they were born in the wrong body.
They give fucking shit to fucking pedophiles to chemically castrate them to take away their desire to fucking fuck kids.
Good.
But they're giving that to these kids.
We're giving it to people that are dying, and we're giving it to kids, telling them that they were born in the wrong body and it's completely safe.
One of the drugs used is Lupron, right? Which has actually been used to chemically castrate sex offenders?
You know what? I'm not sure that we should continue with this interview because it seems like it's going in a particular direction.